We're going to start in a cross-legged seat. I do recommend sitting up on a pillow, or I have my folded blanket here. We're going to do a little bit of standing work today. So if you feel a little bit uncomfortable with your balance, you want some extra support, I recommend having a chair nearby, as well as a pillow and our folded blanket like we always have. So come to a cross-legged seat, or you can sit up in a chair or on the edge of your couch if that feels more comfortable for you. If you're seated upright, make sure the soles of your feet are planted firmly in the ground, and you're actually pressing into them so you feel your connection with the ground. If you're seated like I am, whether you're up on something or directly on the ground, sitting up on something helps with tight hips. So if you have tight hips like I do, you want to sit up on something so that the blood flow is going down the knees and not rushing back towards the hips. Okay. So whether you're seated in a chair or you're seated on the ground or on a prop, we're going to start to ground ourselves by maybe closing the eyes if we feel comfortable, or just drawing the attention to some place on the ground, maybe a couple feet in front of us if we don't feel like we want to close the eyes today. That's fine. We're going to place the palms hands down, face down, on the knees if you're cross-legged, or maybe they'll be on the thighs if you're seated up on a chair or a couch. Take a moment to really press into whatever is beneath you. Really feel your connection. Become aware of the body by becoming aware of your supporting structures. What is the body touching? What does it feel like to feel supported? And now we're going to start to keep our connection with the ground, but start to think up. Really sitting up straight through the spine, seeing if we can separate the vertebrae almost to defy gravity, right? The top of the head, the crown of the head, should feel almost like you're a puppet and somebody's got the string and they're pulling up on you to really lengthen the spine. The chin is going to remain parallel to the floor. Let's take an inhale and roll our shoulders up to our ears, and then exhale to allow the shoulders to melt down the back. The shoulder blades squeeze together just a little bit gently so that we're sitting up nice and straight. Our heart space is open, but our rib cage is not flaring. We want to still knit the rib cage together, hold the abs tight so that we're sitting up nice and tall and supported. And now we'll start to deepen the breath, deepen the inhale. Paying attention to the quality of the air as it enters the nose and goes down the windpipe. Filling the belly first, as if you're pouring a glass of water. As you pour the glass of water, right, the water falls to the bottom of the glass and then starts to rise. See if you can use that visualization to inform the way your breath is filling your abdomen. Inhaling through the nose, filling up the belly, then the chest all the way to the collarbone. Exhaling out the mouth. Letting out a sigh or a noise if it feels good. Really pulling the belly button into the spine to press out all that stale, stagnant air. 2 more really deep like this, in through the nose. Exhaling, pressing the belly button to the spine. 1 more inhale. Exhale, maybe flutter the lips, sigh it out. You did it. It's the weekend. Let's relax. Cool. We're going to work on our Ujjayi breath, or our victorious or ocean sound breath again this week if you were with us last week. So you can go ahead and start if you know what I'm talking about, and if you need a little tutorial, stick with me. All right, we're going to take our one hand, it doesn't matter what hand, and put it a few inches in front of the face. Okay? And we're going to inhale through the nose. And on the exhale, pretend that your hand is a mirror and try to fog it up. Inhale through the nose again. And try to fog up that mirror on your exhale, open mouth. Good, 1 more. Cool, now let the hand drop back down to the knee. And we're going to continue to do that kind of breath, trying to fog up the mirror, but we're going to leave the lips closed on the exhale. So we'll inhale and exhale. It causes this feeling in the throat, this interesting kind of like massage through the throat area, us kind of pushing the breath out in this way. So continue. Inhaling and exhaling. Maybe the eyes are closed. The lips are gently touching. They're sealed. The teeth are not clenching. The tongue is floating in the middle of the mouth. And we have that slight restriction in the back of the throat that's allowing this ocean sound, almost a hushing sound, to come through on the exhale. Allow the hushing and ocean sound of the exhale to start to soothe the entire body. Almost like you're hushing any stress or any tension that you might be holding today. As you continue breathing, start to scan the body from head to toe, taking note of any place there might be extra tension. And that maybe you want to show that area of the body a little extra attention, a little extra love today. Cool. We'll do 3 more Ujjayi or victorious ocean breaths together. Inhaling, filling up the belly as we would pour a glass of water. Exhaling, drawing the belly button to the spine as we try to fog up that mirror with closed lips. Last one. Good. Keeping the eyes closed, if you feel comfortable, return to a normal breath. And see if anything feels different. When we breathe deeply into our diaphragm, it cues our sympathetic nervous system, our fight or flight nervous system, that it does not need to be on alert right now, which then kicks in our parasympathetic nervous system or our rest and digest. Cool. Go ahead and blink the eyes open, or you can keep them closed. We're going to start to warm up the neck a little bit since it's neck and shoulders day today. So go ahead and draw the chin into the chest and then lift the chin back parallel to the floor. And then we're going to raise the nose towards the ceiling. So we'll exhale as we draw our chin into our chest and inhale, drawing the nose up to the ceiling. Good. We're going to do 3 more of these. If you'd like to start to bring this into the tops of the shoulders, go ahead. Maybe as you draw your chin into your chest, you start to concave the chest a little bit too. Exhaling and inhaling. Maybe you start to draw a little bit of a cow spine in here. Continue this. Good. Now we're really going to start to exaggerate the cat and cow movement with our hands on our knees. Use the pressure against the knees to really pull the chest through, drawing the shoulder blades together, and exhale, drawing the belly button to the spine. Again, use the resistance of your hands against your knees, whether you're seated cross-legged or up in a chair, to really pull and get into that spine, get into those shoulders, separate those vertebrae. Give them a nice break. Cool. And as we continue with this cat-cow motion, go ahead and start to play with any sticky spots. Maybe it feels good to rock side to side or to start to introduce some circles. Whatever feels good here. Start to invite some organic movement to get into those sticky spots. All right? I know they're there. Take about 20 more seconds to go ahead and cat-cow it out, inviting those organic movements. So nice. And we'll come to stillness in the center, drawing the ear towards either shoulder, doesn't matter which one. We'll bring our fingertips out and up to the opposite ear so that our fingertips can help draw our ear towards our shoulder. Now make sure the hand that's grasping the opposite ear, you're pressing down on that shoulder so we're not all scrunched up like so. Make sure we're exhaling, trying to draw the shoulder blades down the spine as we're trying to draw this ear towards the shoulder. It can feel really good to outstretch the opposite arm. Sometimes out here. Play around with the level you leave it at. Sometimes the fingertips are nice on the ground. Wherever it feels good for you to get into wherever that tense, sticky spot may be in your shoulders. 3 deep breaths. Breathing deeply into the belly, using that visualization of pouring the glass of water if that helps, and exhaling, drawing the belly button to the spine. On the inhale, can you mentally send the breath towards the tense spots in your neck and shoulders? Maybe on the exhale, you can let go of some of that tension, feel a little release, and possibly even fall a little deeper into the stretch. Final inhale. Exhale, release everything. Take it over to the other side. The fingertips come up and grab the opposite ear, gently pulling the ear towards the shoulder. Figure out what you want to do with that opposing arm. Maybe you want to outstretch it like a T, or maybe it feels better. I really like having my fingertips on the mat. I feel a really nice traction here. 3 deep breaths, inhaling into the belly, inhaling into the tension, exhaling, letting it all go, baby. Does it serve you anymore? No. So let's see if we can direct our energy towards letting it go. Stress and anxiety is really our friend, and I know that our culture teaches us differently, but your fight or flight response is trying to help you, right? Ultimately, it's a survival mechanism. So if we can learn to make friends with our stress and anxiety, final inhale here. Exhale, let it go. We can actually learn to control it a little bit better. If we can thank our body for trying to protect us and igniting its fight or flight response, but then inform ourselves that it's not necessary, that we don't need it, you can start to gain a little bit more control. So, and you're probably like, well, how do you know? I used to take medication for anxiety and depression, and through yoga and breath work, I've been able to not need the pills, not need the drugs anymore. So there's no judgment there whatsoever. It's just it is a really helpful toolkit, and I just want to let you know that, I know firsthand that it can help, whether you use other forms of help or not. Breath work is absolutely excellent for helping to manage your stress and anxiety. All right, let's take our feet out in front of us, shake them out. We've been sitting a little bit. Cool. We're going to take one leg, I don't care which leg. We're going to cross it over outside of the thigh. So it's like outside of my opposite thigh. I'm pressing my foot into the ground while trying to keep both of my sits bones, both of my cheeks glued to whatever is underneath me. So if you're sitting up in a chair, you can just bring your ankle over your knee like a figure 4, okay? Now you can stay here if this is enough for you. If you want a little bit more, I'm going to take my bottom leg and I'm going to bend it back towards my hip bone. So this is called half Lord of Fishes pose. We're going to come into a nice twist. Okay, so you can be seated like this, or your leg can be out in front of you, or you can be figure 4 in a chair. Okay, we're going to take our opposite arm, whatever leg is crossed over. This is my opposite arm. Good morning. We're going to either hug the knee to invite a twist, or if you want a little bit more resistance, a little bit more of that pull, you can bring the elbow outside of the knee. So opposite arm is either hugging or resisting against the knee. We're going to take an inhale to sit up nice and tall. Exhale to draw that elbow around or hug the knee. We're inviting a twist here. Sorry, that was not very articulate. We're inviting a nice twist here. We want it to start from the belly button. So sometimes it helps to utilize that back hand against the ground as a secondary spine to help you sit up nice and tall. And we're even going to try to turn the nose towards our back shoulder to help get into the neck and shoulders a little bit more here, stretching. So go ahead and take 3 deep breaths. I know it's difficult to take deep breaths in this twist. It becomes a little bit harder. But the more we press in with our breath, really pressing our belly into our thigh, wherever it might press against in this twist, the more we're massaging our internal organs. Twists are great for detoxification. Final inhale and exhale, twist back to the front, unravel, bring both legs out in front of us, shake it out, and we'll come to the other side. I'm having all kinds of trouble with what is my right and left today. So that's what happens. Let's cross the opposite foot over so that it's stomped on the outside of the thigh, and we're either leaving the bottom leg outstretched or we're folding it back in. Making sure both of our sit bones are still glued to whatever's underneath us. Take a moment to really get in there. Yeah. Feeling quite an intense stretch in my hip on this side. We're going to inhale that opposite arm from the knee that is stomped on the ground, right? And on the exhale, we're going to welcome that twist from the belly button. We're either hugging the knee or utilizing the elbow against the knee to help twist us a little further. Remember, the twist initiates from the belly button. That back hand is helping to support us. We want our shoulder blades to draw away from the ears, and maybe our nose even turns to look behind us, bringing the twist all the way up into the neck. 3 deep breaths. Really challenging yourself to inhale very deeply in this twist. Exhaling, maybe you can twist a little deeper. Last inhale. Exhale, unravel everything. Bring those feet out in front of you. Cool, we're going to do a couple little acupressure points. So however you want to sit, if you want to stand, whatever feels good for you, I'm going to show you a couple acupressure points for neck and shoulder tension. Hooray. Okay, so the first one that we are going to work with is on your hand. It is Triple Energizer, or TE3. Zhongzhou is the name of the spot, and it is underneath the knuckle where our ring, finger, and pinky meet, right? So here's my knuckles. It's right here, like in that little tiny space in between the tendons there. So just under the knuckles, yeah. So when you do acupressure, you want to apply a fair amount of pressure there. Oof, yeah, I feel that. And you want to either rub back and forth with that pressure, or you want to make small little circles. For me, I don't have enough space in between my tendons there to do circles, so I'm just kind of pressing back and forth. They recommend doing this for 3 to 4 minutes. We're not going to do it that long today, but this is something you can keep in your toolkit to help stress reduction and to help clear some tension away from the neck and shoulders. So we'll take 3 more deep breaths as we sit here and we massage this TE3, or Zhongzhou point. Helps relieve neck and shoulder tension. Good. And now we'll take it over to the other side. So again, locate the knuckles of the pinky and the ring finger, and then find that little sweet spot that's in between the tendon, just under the knuckles. Apply a fair amount of pressure, but don't hurt yourself. You know your threshold. It should be a little bit uncomfortable to get the results that you desire, but you know, don't squeeze the life out of your hand either. 3 deep breaths here. Ooh, I am feeling a lot of effect with this guy. I like it. It's working for me. And again, if you find yourself stressed or clenching your jaw, this is a really good acupressure point to pull out of your toolkit and to press on each hand for 3 to 4 minutes on each side. Cool. The next acupressure point I want to share with you is gallbladder 20. It's called wind pool or feng qi. And I totally was cheating. I just read that off my notes. Don't tell on me. And it is on the back of the neck, right? So in the nape of the neck, right where the skull meets the back of the spine here, right? It's on either side. You know that little tender spot that's right here? So you can either, like I'm doing, use both hands on either side to really apply some pressure. It feels good for me to have 2 fingers. This part is so tense on me. Or for some people, they like to kind of squeeze with their thumb and their first 2 fingers, just using one hand. So whatever works for you. Oh my goodness. Getting in there. Go ahead and massage these points, the wind points. We're going to take 5 deep breaths doing this. And again, this one's recommended for 3 to 5 minutes to help release any jaw, neck tension. This one's a little bit more obvious as to how and why it's effective on helping our neck and jaw. Good. One more deep breath here. Exhale. Cool. So however you're seated, you can remain in a chair or cross-legged for these next couple of exercises. For me, I really like to be in hero pose or virasana, which is up on my knees. But if that's not comfortable for you, take an alternate seat. Or if you have cranky knees, you can take your blanket and put it behind your knees, underneath your sits bones. It helps give you a little bit more space, raises you up. Okay. Wherever you are, take a moment to draw the belly button to the spine. Sit up really nice and tall. Cool. We're going to drop the chin into the chest and do some neck rolls. Through the center, ear to shoulder, through the center, ear to shoulder. Good. Keep going. Last one, make sure you're even on both sides. And then we'll come to the center and roll the neck up. Chin parallel to the ground. Start turning the nose side to side. So the chin is staying level to the ground and coming over each shoulder side by side. Make sure you're breathing, inhaling and exhaling. Good, about 2 more in each direction. Make sure you're nice and even. And then we'll stop in the center. Shrug the shoulders up, really squeeze everything, and then exhale and drop them down into the ground like you're trying to throw your whole body weight into the ground. 2 more like that. Inhale, really tense everything up. Exhale, drop it into the ground. 1 more. Inhale, tense. Exhale, drop it down. Great. Inhale, bring 1 set of fingertips up to the sky, and we're going to side bend it out. No matter how you're seated, if you're close to the ground, you probably want to walk your opposite fingers out like I'm doing, squeezing the shoulder blades together so that the heart space stays nice and open. We're not concaving over like this. We're trying to separate every single one of the bones of our rib cage. Inhale. Exhale. Whatever hand is above your head, try to glue that hip down to the ground. Ooh, yeah, that'll increase your stretch greatly. 2 more breaths. Exhale, come back to the center. Inhale, that opposite arm comes up. Stretch up to the sky, and then exhale, side bend to the other side. Remembering to draw the shoulders down the back, away from the ears, squeezing the shoulder blades together to really open up the chest, supporting yourself with the opposite fingers on the ground or holding the chair, and gluing both hips down to the ground, but particularly the side where the fingers are raised. 2 more really deep breaths here. Excellent. Exhale. Cool. We're coming back. We're going to do Gomukhasana arms or cow face pose arms. So there's two options here. I'll show you the simpler version and then the more advanced version. Okay. So seated or kneeling, however you're doing, bring your right arm bicep up next to the ear. Okay. Then we're going to bend at the elbow and try to bring the palm of the hand in between the shoulder blades. Okay? If this is enough for you, stay here. Use your opposite arm to help draw the elbow so that the fingertips come further down in between the shoulder blades, drawing the shoulders away from the ears the whole time. This might be enough for you. This might be good. The other option here is to bring the opposite hand around so that the back of the palm, the back of the hand is trying to also touch in the center of the fingertips. Maybe your fingertips even touch and hook together. Right? This is the fuller expression of the pose. But it takes time to get here. So if you're chilling out here today, no judgment, just deep breaths. 2 more. Final inhale. Exhale, release everything back down to the ground. Cool. This time the left arm comes up by the bicep to the ear, and the palm tries to drop in between the shoulder blades, fingertips here. So what's going on with the right arm? It's either grabbing the elbow to help encourage the arm and the fingertips to fall down the back, or maybe you're super bendy and you've been doing this for a while. So you bring your fingertips to try to touch behind the shoulder blades. Maybe they even clasp. 3 deep breaths. Final inhale. Exhale. Allow the arms to come down like a beautiful fountain of water. Great. We're moving to all fours, babies. Grab your blanket, put it under your knees if they're sensitive like mine. And go ahead and just start cat-cowing it out. On all fours, the hips directly above the knees, the shoulders directly above the wrists. On the inhale, we are dropping the chest in between the forearms, squeezing the shoulder blades together, lifting the hips, dropping the belly, lifting the nose, inhaling, stretching the throat, exhaling, pressing through everything that's touching the ground, shins, tops of feet, hands, to really use our resistance against the earth to get into that spine, that cat spine. Inhale to cow. Exhale to cat. We're going to do one more traditional. Inhale to cow. Exhale to cat. All right. Start to bring that organic movement in. Maybe you found some sticky spots you want to work through in your cat spine. Maybe you want to make little circles around your wrists. Maybe your wrists are tight and you want to flip them. This is your time. Play around in tabletop in all fours. You got about 30 seconds. Whatever feels good for your body today, I want you to indulge in. Take some care of yourself. All right. Start to come to stillness, neutral spine. We're going to thread the needle. So inhale those right fingertips up to the sky. Exhale to draw those right fingertips underneath the left armpit. The right temple, the right jaw will come to the ground. And you might want to tent your left fingertips and walk them out towards the top of your mat so that your left bicep is near your left ear. This helps bring a really nice side body stretch into this too. Take 3 deep breaths, so really paying attention to the shoulder that's connecting to the ground and seeing if you can release tension there with every exhale. Good. If your left hand is outstretched, bring it back to your face so that you can press into that palm and lift the right fingertips back up to the ceiling. Take it to the other side. Left fingertips, inhale up to the sky. Exhale, thread them underneath the right armpit. This time the left side of the face, the ear, comes to the ground. The left shoulder's touching the ground. If it doesn't make it there, just throw a pillow underneath. It's cool. Nobody minds. Maybe you walk those right fingertips up to add that side body stretch in 3 deep breaths wherever you are. Paying attention to the shoulder that's connecting to the earth, seeing if you can really let go of any tension up there. Great. Replace that right hand near the face if it's outstretched and press into the palm so that you can inhale and bring the left fingertips back up to the sky, and exhale, come back to all fours. Cool. So we're going to do puppy pose now. This can be very intense. So if this does not work for you, feel free to connect the toes, widen the knees, and just chill in a child's pose here. And be really kind to yourself, okay? If you want to try out puppy pose with me, come to all fours, and we're going to start to walk our palms forward. But my legs are going to stay here in this 90-degree shape in the knees. I'm not going to press back like a child's pose. I'm going to try to keep the bottom half of my body as is as I walk my palms out. Again, this can be intense, so if it doesn't work for you, don't be hard on yourself. You might want a pillow underneath your forehead, right? We're trying to draw our chest to the ground here. My chest doesn't make it all the way there. Some people's does. But we're trying to maintain the shape in the bottom of the body while we're pressing the chest towards the ground. Again, feel free to use a pillow underneath your head. Some people are bendy enough that their chin rests on the ground. Some people have their forehead on the ground. The goal is someday to get the chest to the ground. This should feel very intense if you have a lot of shoulder tension. But that's how we get it out, right? 3 deep breaths here. Final breath. And on the exhale, draw the belly button to the spine so that you can start to walk your hands back to all fours. Cool. And now we're going to come laying on our bellies. We're going to do some Sphinx pose. I think I got some props in the way. Let me move them over. All right. So if you're in child's pose, you can join us for this. We're going to do some Sphinx pose. So we're laying on the belly. If you have tension in your low back, it feels good to spread the feet wide. For some people, it feels good to keep the feet together. So whatever feels best for your low back, go ahead and set your feet up that way or experiment. It's totally cool. And we'll come to make a little pillow with our hands, rest the forehead on the hands, yep. And let's take a moment here, laying on the mat, to just wiggle the hips side to side. This feels so nice on the low back. Really let everything go, no need for tension right now. Great. And we're going to come to stillness, and we're going to start to press the front side of our legs and our pelvis into the ground, right? This is going to engage the belly button towards the spine, and we're going to start to roll up. We're going to bring our elbows directly underneath our shoulders, right? I want a nice 90-degree angle here. And press the palms into the earth. Start to track the palms backwards towards the body, almost like you're trying to pull your trunk through your hands, okay? We're going to inhale, bring the shoulders up towards the ears, and then exhale to try to connect the shoulder blades and really open through the chest. The chin wants to be parallel with the ground. Those hands, feet, pelvis, all of it is pressing into the floor. The belly button is pulling into the spine to support our low back. Sphinx pose. This one is excellent to reverse our computer hunch. 3 deep breaths. If you want to go deeper, you can start to tent the fingertips and press the torso up. This is up to you. I'm going to stay here today. It's your practice. You get to choose how intense or how gentle to make it. Great. Exhale, we're going to press back through the palms all the way to a child's pose. And it's your child's pose. You can have the knees as wide as the mat and the toes touching, or you can have the knees together and your palms behind you, little seedling pose. Take 3 deep breaths here. And while you're here in child's pose, I'd like you to take a moment to practice gratitude for yourself for practicing today. Excellent. Go ahead and walk your hands back towards your knees. So you're seated. We're going to come to stand. Get rid of your blanket if you have it. Okay. And this is the part of class where if you feel a little unstable, unsteady on your feet, you're going to want a chair for underneath your hands. We're going to do a little bit of triangle pose to get into those neck and shoulders, but you can feel a little wobbly in it. So if you want some extra support, grab a chair and just use it to help hold on to help hold on and help your balance. Cool. So we're going to start out by really planting our feet hip width distance into the ground. If you need to measure, 2 fists on the inside of the arches is approximately our hip width distance. We're really going to press the feet into the ground so that the thighs and the legs are active and engaged. My belly button is drawn into my spine. I'm going to inhale to draw my fingertips out and up, look up. Exhale, bend the knees, pull the belly button to the spine. We're going to come into a fold. This might be the part where you want something underneath your hands. Maybe a chair, maybe like a yoga block or a stack of books, maybe even that pillow if it's a firm pillow. We're going to hang out here for a moment, breathing deeply. If your balance is nice, if you feel steady, some people like to grab opposite elbows to really release the spine. Being upside down like this reverses the blood flow. It helps us decompress our spine. I really want you to let go of the neck. We're trying to take extra care of our neck and shoulders today. So shake the head yes, and shake the head no, to make sure that you're not holding any tension in your neck and shoulders. My belly button is drawn to my spine to help support my low back and to allow the vertebrae to release a little bit further. And my knees are gently bent so that I'm focusing more on releasing my back instead of like stretching my hamstrings. 3 more deep breaths. Invite that ocean sound back to your breath as you hang here. Exhale, release the palms if they're holding onto something, and we're going to slowly roll up. Vertebrae by vertebrae. Cool. We're going to step back into a warrior 2 now. So if you know how to do that, go ahead. I'll meet you there. If you need a step-by-step tutorial, here we go. So come to stand, front edge of the mat, and we're going to step the left foot backwards, okay? Now, I'm in a lunge shape, so my right knee is bent. I want my knee to stay over my ankle, and I want to do my best to actively press out, right? We don't want the knee to concave in here. We want it to stay stacked as much as possible and press outwards. So when I look down at my right foot, I can see my big toe, and my knee looks like it's resting like right in between my big toe and my second toe. My left foot, my back foot, the edge of my foot is parallel to the back of the mat. And you can either have a heel-to-heel alignment so that your right heel and your left heel are like in one line on the mat. Or you can, if that's not great for your balance, you can make it a little bit wider than that. Or a heel to arch is also another one. So you can put your hands on your hips, take an inhale, and exhale. Let's try to sink a little bit deeper into our lunge. Cool. Drawing the belly button to the spine. If you feel comfortable and stable here, we're going to start to bring the fingertips out into a T. Okay? My hips are open to the side of my mat. And my gaze, my focus, my vision, or my drishti, is the Sanskrit word for it, is over the middle finger of my right arm. 3 deep breaths here in Warrior 2. It seems so simple, but there's so much going on. You're probably building some heat right now. That's great. 1 more inhale. Exhale, we're going to straighten through that front leg. Okay? I like to shorten my stance here a little bit. We're going into moving into triangle pose. So you might want a chair underneath. So we've straightened our front leg. My back leg, the left leg, is still parallel. The edge of the foot is still parallel to the back of the mat. Okay? I'm going to shift my hips back in space as I try to reach my right hand as far forward as possible. And then I'm going to start to bring it towards my shin. You see how I have my knee locked out right now? That's bad. Don't do it. I'm being a bad baby. You want to make sure that your knee is not quite locked out. This is where maybe having a chair under your hand is going to feel really nice, or a yoga block, or like a giant can of something, or some books. anything that might help out. Or you can use your hand against the shin or against the thigh to kind of help you stabilize. You want to pretend like you're stuck in between two panes of glass here. Squeezing my shoulder blades together. This is a lot on my shoulders, but it's going to help me release some of that tension. And if you feel comfortable here, maybe you even turn the nose to look up towards the left thumb. 3 deep breaths here in triangle pose. Final inhale. And on the exhale, we're going to re-bend into that front knee and come back into warrior two. Take a little walk back up. Yep. And I'm going to walk my back foot back out. I can have a little bit of a longer stance in my warrior two. Cool. Now I'm going to flip my right palm, bring my left palm to my thigh, and introduce a nice side stretch for a reverse warrior here. Oh, it feels so good. Really press into your feet and think about squeezing and scissoring the inner thighs together even though your legs are apart. This will help your balance. Cool. And then exhale will come back up through a warrior two, right? And we're going to just pop our foot back up so we're standing at the top of our mat. Maybe it takes a couple steps. That's cool. All right, other side. I'm going to walk over here so you can see me. But this time we're going to step our right foot back. I'll change the angle a little bit so you can see my foot position. This time the right foot is going to step back for warrior two. See how the edge of my foot is parallel to the mat? I like to do a heel to arch alignment. It helps me feel a little bit more stable. The right foot is bent in a lunge. Remember that knee is trying to press outward so that you're not concaving the knee in. The pelvis is tipped forward a little bit. The belly button is to the spine, and we're knitting our rib cage together. Inhale to stand up, the torso nice and straight. Exhale, can you get a little bit deeper? If you feel stable, now is the time to windmill your arms open to a T shape. The hips are open to the side of the mat, and the drishti, the gaze, is over the middle finger of the left hand. 3 deep breaths here in warrior two. Really shoot energy out through your fingertips so that your arms are very active. And again, remember to press into both soles of the feet. Try to squeeze the inner thighs together even though they're apart. This will help your balance. Last inhale. Exhale, straighten that right leg. We're coming into triangle pose, so I'm going to shorten my stance a little bit. I'm not going to lock out my knee and be a bad baby again, right? And I'm going to start to pop my hips backwards in order to draw my left fingertips forward. And eventually, I can't go forward anymore, so I'll start to bring my palm to my shin or the chair that's supporting me, or maybe my thigh. Triangle pose. Again, pressing out through the feet, maybe turning the nose to look up at the right thumb, squeezing the shoulder blades together as if I'm stuck between two panes of glass. My body is nice and flat. Trying to release tension in the shoulders. One more deep breath here. Exhale, rebend through that right knee. We're coming through warrior two. I can stretch out a little bit more because I shortened my stance, so go ahead, reestablish your warrior two, draw the belly button to the spine, flip the left palm, the opposite hand can come to the thigh or to the hip, and we're coming into that lovely reverse warrior that should be getting into all these little rib cage bones. Beautiful. Yes, maybe the nose turns to look up at the left hand. Deep breaths. Last one. Exhale, come back through that warrior two, and we'll walk back up to standing at the front of our mats. Good. Inhale, bend through the knees, stretch the fingertips out and up. The hands are going to meet overhead, and we'll exhale to fold again. We're going to meet back in that forward fold. My knees are gently bent. Maybe I have something under my hands to support me. I'm in a lovely, gentle forward fold, taking some deep breaths. And as you're in this gentle fold, whether your hands are touching the floor, maybe you have opposite elbows held again, we're releasing the neck, shaking the head yes, shaking the head no. Come to stillness now in your forward fold. And just scan the body. Does anything feel different in the forward fold after doing that warrior two? And that triangle pose. I have a lot more space in my hips and also in my neck. It feels great. Exhale, release the hands if you have them on anything, and slowly start to roll up. All right, we're almost done. Come down to your backs. It's time to relax. Good work, and thank you for sticking with me today. Cool. All right. So come to lay down on your back. We're going to do something different today. So remember what we did with our arms, that Gomukhasana, that weird clasp thing that was behind our backs, cow face pose. We're going to do the legs for that pose now, but we're going to do it on our backs. So lying on your back with your soles of the feet on the ground, your knees will be bent. Okay? Take one foot. I'm going to take my right foot and I'm going to cross it over my left foot. I'm trying to stack my knees on top of one another. And maybe it won't happen. I got them thick legs, you know? That's okay. Get as close as you can. I'm going to then lift my left foot up off the floor, and I'm trying to separate my ankles so that I can grab either my shins or maybe the soles of my feet with my hands. And this should be quite an intense stretch through the hip. I have my right leg on top, so it's the right hip that I am feeling through this. So you're laying on your back, keeping your back connected to the ground. And maybe your legs look more like this. There's a space in between them. That's okay. Try to flex the feet and try to stack the knees as best as possible. And then use the hands to start to draw the shins apart and towards the face. 3 deep breaths here. Final inhale, release the hands, release the legs to the ground. This time the left knee will cross over the right, and every side and every body is different. So no judgment if it doesn't look like my shape or like somebody you're practicing with. That's totally fine. Cross the left knee over the right, and then we'll start to pull the belly button to the spine to draw the knees closer to the face. And then we'll use the hands to either draw the shins apart or grab the feet, trying to widen the space between the feet and draw the shape towards the face. You should get a really nice stretch through your left hip on this left side. 3 deep breaths. Final inhale. Exhale, release the feet to the ground. Step the soles of the feet about mat width distance apart or a little bit wider than hips and knock your knees together for a little constructive rest. The hands can splay out. And as you lay here with your knees knocked together, start to roll your neck side to side so that your nose is looking towards the left and then you're looking towards the right. Just another way to get another little neck stretch in. Gravity is pulling on us a different way. You might feel some different muscles tense or release through this. And once you're even, come back to the center. Step the feet back into hip width distance apart. And then step the heels as close to the sits bones or the bottom of the booty, the glutes, as you possibly can. If you can get your fingertips to touch the back of your heels, that's ideal. But if you're not there yet, that's also fine. Just get those heels as close to the glutes as possible. Press the palms into the ground. Inhale to start to tip the pelvis towards the face. And then press through the feet. We're coming up into a bridge pose on the inhale. Exhale, roll back through the spine, bring it down. 2 more like this. Inhale up. And when you're up here in the fullest expression, your hips are lifting towards the ceiling. You should feel a really nice massage on the tops of your shoulders. Exhale, bring it back down. Inhale, 1 more. Great. And now if you're comfortable staying here, stay. And bring your hands to clasp underneath you together. See if you can walk your shoulders together. This is great for tension releasing. And if you're not comfortable with this, if you feel really unbalanced and you don't want to do it, you can go ahead and drop the pelvis to the ground and just bring the feet up to the ceiling to hang out with nice. My legs are as relaxed as they can be for the fact that they are lifted up overhead. This is like legs up the wall pose. So if you're still in bridge pose here, getting into those little shoulder babies, go ahead and inhale. Exhale, release the palms back to the ground and roll through the spine. Come meet us in legs up the wall pose. So I know we don't have a wall. Maybe you do. Maybe you're next to a wall right now, but this pose is so good for you. If you can actually scoot your hips up against a wall and leave your legs up the wall for like 15 minutes while you watch TV or do something on your phone, this is super, super beneficial. Really good for stress release, this pose here. It's your hot tip for the day. Exhale to bring the knees into the chest, palms to the knees, and start to circle. Small little baby circles. Cool. Other direction. Bring the arms out into a T. The knees will come to stillness. Arms come out to the T. Drop the knees off to either side. Supine twist. Inhaling and exhaling. Relaxing. Starting to return to that meditative mindset that we welcomed at the beginning of class, focusing on the breath. We'll be here for 30 seconds. Sometimes it feels nice to bring the hand on top of the knees. It kind of increases the stretch. If you want to bring the twist all the way up into the neck, you can look over your shoulder the opposite way of your knees. Attention is on the breath. Letting go of anything that did or didn't happen in practice. Maybe this return to relative stillness is causing your mind to think about all the things you need to do this weekend or next week. See if you can let that go and just be in the present moment, focusing on your breath. Inhale, draw the knees in to the chest, and exhale to drop them off to the other side. Maybe the hand comes on top of the knees to help increase the stretch a little bit. Maybe the nose looks out across the opposite way from the knees to increase the stretch. 30 seconds here. Again, focusing on the breath. The breath is our link and the key to the present moment. Can you return to that ujjayi or ocean sound breath, hushing the body, hushing the thoughts, soothing any tension? Next, inhale, draws the knees up into the chest. Wrap the arms around the knees, giving yourself a nice hug. Maybe you even draw your forehead towards your knees. Really squeezing everything, thanking yourself for taking this time to show up for you and to practice self-care. When we take care of ourselves and show up for ourselves, we are so much more apt and able to show up for the world and the people we love around us. Exhale to release everything into Shavasana, corpse pose, or final resting pose. The legs can splay out, the arms can splay out. If you feel like it today and you'd rather take that constructive rest with the soles of your feet stomped towards the outside edges of the mat and the knees knocked in together, this can be really nice for the low back. So if you prefer to take Shavasana in this shape today, go ahead and do so. Wherever you are, you're welcoming stillness so that your body can absorb all the benefits of the practice we just engaged in together. Go ahead and release any muscles in the feet and the ankles, the shins, the calf muscles are not gripping. Even the knees relax. The quads, hamstrings, glutes all melt into the ground. All tension is just releasing from the hips, releasing into the earth. No longer serves you, so we'll let it go. Let it seep back into the earth. Release the stomach. See if you can even give the internal organs a little bit more space to relax and release. The low back, the middle back, the shoulder blades, the upper back, they all melt into the earth beneath you. The heart space is open and receptive as the shoulders release into the ground. The fingers and wrists are not tense. The arms release and relax, as does the neck. The jaw is not clenched, all tension melting away. The teeth are slightly apart, the tongue floats in between, not glued to the roof of the mouth. There's no tension in the face, no expression. The eyebrow is not furrowed. The skin of the face and the scalp relaxes and melts into the ground. Thinking of nothing, allowing the thoughts that do come to mind to pass without judgment. Maybe on the inhale you think let, and on the exhale you think go, to try to release your thoughts. Let go. I'll leave you here in silence for about a minute to truly rest and absorb the benefits of our practice. Let go. Begin to deepen the breath. Inhaling into the belly. Exhaling, maybe sighing it out. The next inhale is so deep it starts to stir the body. Maybe you circle the wrists or the ankles. Maybe the head nods from side to side. The next inhale draws the fingertips up overhead, biceps by the ears, so that you're stretching long on your back from fingertips to toes. And on the exhale, you'll roll over to either side, bringing the knees into the chest, using the arm as a pillow to rest in the fetal position for a moment, remembering that we all come into this world the same way. There's something very beautiful and sacred about that. Begin to push yourself back up into a seat the same way we began class. Eyes closed if you feel comfortable still. Palms face down on the knees, really grounding into the structure that's supporting you beneath you, growing tall through the spine. Taking a moment to scan the body head from toe, head to toe, and just seeing what feels different. If you feel any different. One hand to the heart, one hand to the belly, chin into chest. Take a moment here to thank yourself. I thank you for joining me. Thank you to everyone who is practicing together today. Go ahead and bring the palms to meet. Touch one another in front of the chest. You can lock the thumbs into that little notch in the sternum. Bring the thumbs to the third eye or the center of the forehead between the eyebrows. And if you feel comfortable bowing, go ahead and bow towards the ground. The light in me honors and acknowledges the light within you. Namaste. Thank you so much for practicing with me today, beautiful people. Again, our donations are going to Jeremiah program this month here in Brooklyn to support single mothers' education alongside of their children's education. I'm going to go ahead and turn off my camera so that you can read the information on the screen. I will leave this up for about a minute. This is our last class that we'll be donating to Jeremiah program. But you can do this class at any point through the end of July and send donations, and I will pass them on to Jeremiah program, and I'll let you know what we were able to donate as a community at the end of this month. So the information to donate is up on your screen. Gentle yoga for all bodies on Saturdays at noon with Prosperous Yoga. Hey, that's me, Tara. Thank you for hanging out today, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Take care.